Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Taurus December 2017 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Well, anyway, people, first thing off is that as far as December goes, well, the sun will be in Sagittarius from the 1st until the 21st, and the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So for Taurus at this time, there could be a lot of focus on 8th house matters, such as astrology, psychology, the supernatural, occult, even taxes, insurance. And being that this is Sagittarius, this could be done with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of exuberance, and a lot of that Sagittarius expansive-like energy, and even perhaps making a major change or transformation in Taurus life, which of course Taurus is often strongly averse to. I should know since I have Taurus rising, but so it would be an interesting phase for Taurus at this time. Also, now the next thing is, as far as December goes, the sun will be in Capricorn from the 21st until the 31st, and the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time, there could be a lot of focus on things of philosophical nature for Taurus, maybe even a long-distance journey. This could be done with a lot of this Capricorn-like seriousness, and a lot of, and really when you look at this also, it could be a strong focus on a lot of this discipline Capricorn energy and 9th house matters. It could be matters pertaining to religion, in-laws as well. It could even be with responsibilities toward being responsible in 9th house matters. So anyway, now the full moon will be in Gemini on December 3rd, and the 2nd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So this could be a time where, I mean, the full moon can often suggest when someone is full of something. And for Taurus, could it be maybe dissipating self through lack of a concentrated purpose in their financial arena? Maybe Taurus tired of showing too much, so to speak, versatility or diversity in financial matters, and maybe it's time to just say enough is enough. Let's just concentrate on one thing, Taurus. It could also be the culmination or ending of some kind of communication project that might make money for Taurus. It could be something connected with Gemini, like dexterity, that comes to an end, or a completion that was tied in to making money. And it could be, I mean, really too, I mean, you look at the 2nd house in a chart, and really this is also, I mean, about perhaps self-esteem as well for Taurus, and maybe a communication finally comes to a close, which maybe somehow helps Taurus get maybe greater self-esteem at this point in time. It could also be maybe also looking at what I want to talk about is the next thing is that the new moon will be in Sagittarius on December 18th, and the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time, this could be something new that Taurus embarks on, perhaps with a lot of that ebullient, expansive, and exuberant Sagittarius energy in something astrological, something connected with a major change or transformation, which could, of course, be, obviously could be manifold things, whether it might be physical or otherwise, and just making a major change in Taurus's life at this point in time. It could be maybe in some cases, even if it's a new crisis, it could be something that Taurus may embark on with a lot of that positive Sagittarius like energy. So these are some things to look at as far as this goes. Now, the next thing, well, Mercury will be in Sagittarius this month, and I mean, as far as December goes, And the 8th house, of course, is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, there could be a lot of, I guess you could say, very positive communications, perhaps with maybe overshared resources, maybe reaching maybe some positive communications which are very auspicious for Taurus regarding things that are connected with shared resources, such as perhaps sharing something with a business partner. It could be with the sexual partner, somebody that you're having an intimate relationship with, that in a lot of exuberant positive conversation, also ones of a philosophical nature, perhaps on 8th house matters such as astrology, the occult, supernatural, psychology, things that are very deep. And keep in mind that Mercury will be in retrograde motion from the 3rd to the 22nd. So at this time, you can kind of be backlogging, kind of going, it might be going back to past philosophical discussions, or even matters of a religious nature, perhaps with somebody that you have some kind of shared business with, shared resources with, somebody you may have it could be a sexual partner or somebody you're in an intimate relationship with. So anyway, well, Venus will be in Sagittarius as far as December goes from the 1st until the 25th. And the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time, this could be a lot of perhaps enjoyment, this Sagittarius-like enjoyment, perhaps put into 8th house matters. It could be such as finding, maybe making a major transformation and having a lot of enjoyment in doing so with a lot of that ebullient and enthusiasm, that Sagittarius ebullient enthusiastic energy. It could be money that is made perhaps through an 8th house venture such as astrology, psychology, insurance, doing taxes, and also, I mean, being in Sagittarius could be very fortuitous as well. And it could be too that you look at this, that money might be made in a Sagittarius-like field with somebody that you might have a business partnership with, or that you have you're maybe even a sexual relationship with, or somebody you might have an intimate relationship with. It could be Venus being in Sagittarius. Venus, of course, is about money. And Sagittarius, I mean, it could be a wide divergence of things. Something could be connected with publishing, perhaps something with sports, something connected with perhaps traveling, something that might be Sagittarius related one way or another. So anyway, well, as far as December goes, Venus will be in Capricorn from the 25th until the 31st, and the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, this could be a time where perhaps Taurus expresses some enjoyment of responsibilities in perhaps maybe in a relationship with perhaps, like an in-law. I don't mean a sexual one, I just mean their relationship in general, like just a connection. And or it could be, actually, what I should say is this could be the enjoyment of maybe finding or enjoyment of a responsible maybe relationship with maybe somebody that they may meet overseas or in another country, and somebody that might be older and more mature. It could be somebody that could be a Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in some cases, or simply embody Capricorn-like characteristics. But there could be money that might be made. This would be a good period for people that might be in politics or involved in government work that somehow are making money, perhaps through their traveling, if their job requires to do so, traveling overseas. So anyway, Well, the next thing is, well, Mars will, as far as December goes, will be in Libra from the 1st until the 9th, and the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, there could be perhaps some contentious and acrimonious situations involved in one's workplace. It could even be maybe if they're in like a health or fitness club, this could be something could happen there as far as that goes. But because Mars is in Libra, this is about passive aggressive energy, where the arguments or the situations that are contentious may not really be that overly outwardly combative, where it's more about passive aggressive energy, where it's more subtle, where somebody just doesn't respond to you, for example, when you talk to them, and things of that nature, or just not doing what you may have requested him or her to do, things of that nature. And just be careful, Taurus, because this could be a time where you might be a little bit greater propensity for accidents at the workplace than usual. So try to keep that Mars and Libra balance during this time. Now, anyway, the next thing is, as far as December goes, Mars will be in Scorpio from the 9th until the 31st, and the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, there could be a lot of this energy, this fixated, obsessive energy, perhaps connected with 7th house matters, such as maybe a legal battle, dealing with open adversaries, and where it could really be in Scorpio could be rather explosive and powerful, these situations. And also, this could be where you might have, if applicable, if you have a significant other, someone you're in a relationship with, these could be very heated, volatile type arguments, perhaps during this time, and ones that might be connected over Scorpio-like jealousy. It could also be injecting a lot of Scorpio energy into Scorpio-like things with somebody you might have a business partnership with, such as astrology, the occult, supernatural. It could be something with tarot readings, something forensics, something detective work, something of the Scorpio-like nature. So anyway, well, the next thing is, well, Jupiter, of course, will still be in Scorpio, and the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, keep in mind, I mean, Scorpio, I understand Jupiter is about luck and fortune, but it could be paradoxical, as I've stated in other videos. And this can enlarge certain things, such as surreptitious, sneaky activity, perhaps from a significant other, somebody you're in a relationship with, and just perhaps others in general. It could also be about expanding relationships, perhaps of an occult or astrological nature. Those kind of relationships might be expanded for Taurus at this time. And it could also be a lot of luck in relationships by maybe making, through major transformations, through resiliency, by dealing strongly with adversity. This is where Taurus can have very strong luck in bouncing back from adversity. These are the things where Taurus can have some luck as far as others and relationships go at this time. Now, anyway, the next thing is, well, Saturn, as far as December goes, will be in Sagittarius from the 1st until the 20th, and the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. Now, at this time for Taurus, there could be a lot of this contained, I guess you could say, cautious optimism in 8th house matters, whether it could be matters with taxes, it could be matters connected with somebody you're having an intimate relationship with, a sexual relationship, and where you maybe trying to make a major transformation in your life, when you're dealing, or it could be in dealing with some kind of upheaval or crisis. But keep in mind that Saturn could be about restrictions and limitations. So in talking about the 8th house, that it could show that there might be some limitations now in perhaps in your support system during this time, and that could even be getting emotional support or moral support from others can be difficult when you're talking Saturn in the mix here. So anyway, well, Saturn will be, as far as December goes, Saturn will be in Capricorn from the 20th until the 31st, and the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, this could be a time for Taurus where, I mean, you're talking Saturn and Capricorn, the 9th house. This could be about working laboriously, following rules and regulations, perhaps in some 9th house matters. It could be working toward publishing something. Of course, making sure you're not copying anything off anybody else inadvertently or otherwise. If you're publishing something, being very conventional, orthodox, following those Capricorn like rules, showing serious responsibility in 9th house matters. This could even be to in-laws, to grandchildren, just 9th house matters in general, and maybe even to higher education at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing I'm going to talk about is, okay, Uranus, of course, is still going to be in Aries, and the 12th house is what will be emphasized still and highlighted for Taurus. And I mean, I should know something about this. I have the actual transit in my 12th house right now. This could indicate perhaps disruptions of sleep. It could be due to even me being in Aries, maybe some angry dreams. It could be that maybe what's going, or it could be maybe disruptions in sleep due to something that might be maybe something acrimonious going on maybe in the unconscious with Taurus, or something on your mind when you're going to sleep. Well, maybe there's some angry situation. A lot of this could just simply be about really showing maybe ingenuity privately, and showing and doing so, and really with this pioneering Aries like energy, so to speak. This could also be, keep in mind, I mean, that your private life for Taurus at this time, there might be a lot of chaos, a lot of tumult going on in it, in behind the scenes at this time, since we're talking about Uranus and 12th house activity. It could even show, if Taurus is doing something with the metaphysical, that there could be some ingenuity that might be shown in connection with that, which could include astrology, of course. So anyway, going to Neptune now. Neptune, of course, will still be in Pisces at this time. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So anyway, well, for Taurus at this time, this could be a lot of deception and delusion in matters connected with friends, with acquaintances. I know I'm experiencing this right now. I have Neptune currently transiting my 11th house in my natal chart. This could be about the dissipation and dissolving of friends. I think, you know, a lot of people may ask, well, how does that differ from like Pluto? Well, Pluto in a transit could be like, well, Pluto is more about complete obliteration and destruction, but it could be about rebirth. The Neptune is more, I think, more a little bit of a gradual dissipation of things, and it doesn't mean something's going to actually come back and replace it. The good thing about Pluto is when something can be destroyed, a lot of times it'll be about rebirth and regeneration, and you'll get something to supplant what was lost. But unfortunately, Neptune, it's really not about that. It could also be about dealing with friends and acquaintances that might have maybe a drug issue or alcoholic issue, ones that are very deceptive. But at the same time, this could be about showing a lot of imagination in one's goals and aspirations, and really feeding those things, their aspirations, with that imagination and with that Pisces-like compassion, showing that compassion toward that as well. So anyway, well, the next thing is Pluto, of course, will still be in Capricorn, of course, and the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, this could be continual, maybe making a major change or transformation in matters connected with higher education. This could be maybe of a philosophical or religious nature. Be careful too, because Pluto is about power and control as well, that you're not necessarily trying to control someone necessarily through some kind of negative indoctrination of some belief or some religion, or that you're not susceptible to this at this time, that no one's trying to manipulate you in this manner. So I think that is something to look at. And also people, and a lot of people don't like to hear the dreaded D word, but I mean, keep in mind the 9th house also is over grandchildren and in-laws. In some cases, this could indicate a death of one. So because Pluto is about death, and I'm not, in most cases, I don't think this would, but remember, whenever you have Pluto transiting, or I should say at least, well, in this case, I'm talking about houses emphasized, but if Pluto is actually in one's 9th house, well, then you're looking at it like it can, wherever Pluto is in a natal chart, in a house or what have, in a house, the chances of something actually dying in connection with that house are increased. There's a little greater propensity for that. So anyway, well, the next thing I want to get to is the North Node will be in Leo still, and of course the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, this is about perhaps taking pride in matters pertaining to your home and who you are at the core. It could be, I mean, when you have the North Node in Leo, of course, the South Node is in Aquarius. It could be about getting in the 10th house is where the Aquarius energy is emphasized and highlighted. So it could be getting away from maybe some kind of unusual or bizarre career endeavors, and getting, and perhaps even from an Aquarius-like subject, such as esoteric interest in a career, and moving forward in terms of doing things connected with the home life. It could be also where you might have to be a little bit more extravagant in home-related matters at this time, and also taking pride with who you are at the core, and also matters connected with traditions and roots. So, and really, also, I mean, 4th house is also about your emotional security. So it's really about using a lot of that Leo, I would guess you could say that self-assuredness and confidence to really feel confident who you are, not just at the core, but really about about being secure emotionally. And through that Leo confidence and self-assuredness, perhaps one can do so. Anyway, the next thing is the Black Moon Lilith will be in Capricorn. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time, well, the Black Moon Lilith can often be about an unveiling and a revelation of something. Being in Capricorn 9th house, this could be about some tyrannical or sometimes even ruthless quality, perhaps connected with an in-law, in some cases a grandchild, but it could be also maybe a foreigner, somebody you meet through some long distance traveling, somebody in some religious congregation. But one way or another, it could also be about a depressing, perhaps philosophical outlook that is unveiled for Taurus at this time. It could also reveal perhaps a very strong, formidable adversary that could be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or may simply embody those Capricorn-like characteristics that could be in some 9th house matters, such as somebody you might be going to college with, for example, or somebody that, in some cases could be an in-law. There are some other, things. It could be somebody you meet through some long distance traveling. So anyway, last but not least, Chiron, of course, will still be in Pisces, and the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Taurus. So at this time for Taurus, well, Taurus might experience perhaps some wounds and some suffering connected with gullibility, impressionability, perhaps matters pertaining to friends, listening to what a friend or acquaintance might say and believing it and facing repercussions because of it. I've succumbed to this, unfortunately. I have Chiron actually transits in my 11th house right now in Pisces. And this could also be about maybe helping friends and acquaintances in some cases that are going through a lot of Pisces self-pitying. Could be something drug or alcohol related, some addiction that they're going through, and you're there maybe perhaps to help them out through this suffering with that Pisces-like compassion and empathy. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Taurus December 2017 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time where I will be talking about my Gemini December 2017 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.